I'm pretty sure that everyone listening to this lecture right now has had to overcome some sort of obstacle. I mean, we're human. It's such a common thing, and it's such a common discussion point too, which I want to focus on there, that it's frequently the subject of an interview question or a college application essay. So tell me about a time you had to overcome an obstacle. Just because we've overcome obstacles, that doesn't mean it's easy to communicate about. And it certainly doesn't mean it's going to be easy next time we face one, especially in the workplace if we're new to the workplace. Challenges and obstacles are going to come up in every workplace. And one of the most important things a leader can do, that you can do, I mean, let's drop the leader word. The most important thing you can do is help others tackle their obstacles and know the right way to do so. And who knows, maybe you'll even come to enjoy it. One of our faculty members loves the challenge of confronting and overcoming obstacles so much that she competes in obstacle course races. So this is Dr. Lawson, and she does these Spartan races in her spare time. So for some people, overcoming obstacles can be really gratifying and exciting. And for others of us, like perhaps myself, I am fine with addressing long-term conflict, but a big obstacle, I find that really draining. It's the idea of doing a Spartan race sounds like, why would I do that? Why would I go into that sort of competitive obstacle attainment when I could go do a nice yoga class or take a bike ride? So for this chapter, we're going to think about the idea of what path goal theory is. I know this is going to be new, and what it's trying to do. I want you to think about what are different obstacles and be able to identify them, the idea of expectancy theory, and this is a really useful one, and how it relates to path goal, and how you can also connect this to ideas of motivation. You can see, I hope, obviously, how this can play into the major 4 leadership communication styles identified as part of path goal theory, and when you should use each of these communication styles. Now you're going to look at these and notice there is so much overlap, especially with the second one to the first one. All of these will make more sense by the time we go through it. Our textbook provides a good basic understanding of path goal. I'm going to go a little bit deeper, so this is beyond what's in our textbook into some of the research. A really good starting place is this quote, because path goal theory concerns itself with leaders helping followers be both more successful and more satisfied. And I think that's just a fantastic goal for us. Path goal theory is one of the most commonly studied situational leadership theories, and especially with its application to communication. This was super innovative in the 1970s. It shifted attention away from task relationship focus of leadership communication and onto follower needs and motivations. In a practical sense, it's important because it offers leaders a roadmap. It gives directions about ways to improve followers' satisfaction and performance. It's something you can take in as a consultant and be like, here, go for it. The theory is designed to explain how leaders can help followers along their path to their goals by selecting specific behaviors that are best suited to followers' needs and to the situation in which the followers are working. And that's a quote from your book there. So you want to think about choosing the appropriate style. When you choose the appropriate style, you can increase followers' expectations for success and satisfaction. In other words, you need to adjust your style to meet your followers' needs, and a good manager, a good leader, is going to do that. This adjustment is done by choosing behaviors that complement or supplement what is missing in an organizational setting. Path goal theory aims to improve follower performance and satisfaction by focusing on follower motivation and the nature of work tasks. This is going to assert, and again, I don't want to quote your book at length here, but the idea of that leadership can generate motivation when it increases the number and kinds of payoffs from followers receive from the work. So that is from your book. But we want to think about how leadership can be used as this motivational tool, because if you're providing this clear path, if you know which trail that you're going to take, then it is going to generally be more satisfying as you move forward to accomplish whatever you're accomplishing. So in brief, path goal theory is designed to explain how leaders can help followers along the path to their goals. But you want them to think about selecting specific behaviors that are suited to the follower's needs and to the situation. If you choose the appropriate style, you can increase followers' expectations for success and satisfaction. This image is here in your book, but if it's easier and you want to grab a screenshot of it, you might do that because it lists the 7 obstacles that get in the way of achieving goals. You want to think about this versus there's another leadership book that Northhouse wrote, and he talks about it a little bit differently. You can see the first two obstacles in the book listed in the bullets of that upper figure, so defining goals, clarifying path. This is the idea of explaining what someone is supposed to do and how to do it. There's research that a leadership's communication style significantly influences follower satisfaction and intent to leave an organization. So understanding and employing the concepts in path goal theory are important for organizations who want to enhance follower engagement and motivation and reduce turnover, which is going to, to put it almost not crassly, but to put it bluntly, increasing profits because you're reducing turnover. To put this into an example that you may have already experienced, think about a class you hated. That professor's teaching style probably influenced that and maybe led you to drop the class. And sometimes that absolutely is an idea of what's the path to the goals. How do you do well in the course? We're going to look at obstacles, but also how communication style and situational factors influence follower motivation in this theory. Think about that syllabus you get, and you have no idea what's going on in the class. Yeah, I personally, if I got that and I was in a training course, I would be like, I think I might just pass on this. This book defines obstacles as a hindrance, problems, hurdles, things that are going to keep you from reaching your goal. Anything that has a negative impact on follower performance could be called an obstacle. Obstacles are important for leaders to recognize because they provide clear cues for what leaders can do to help followers. Learning about and dealing with obstacles in an effective way to improve your leadership, that's really the goal here. Two of the key challenges, though, for helping people overcome obstacles are figuring out what the problems are and then figuring out, what do I do to solve that? That's a huge challenge here. I'm actually going to skip over the first two obstacles, which are unclear goals and unclear directions. Book does a great job of covering those. You are an undergraduate student. You have familiarity with probably both of those things already. Instead, I want to dive into the third one. So that is low motivation. And truthfully, a lot of you might be painfully familiar with that too. I've had conversations, of course, this year about how hard it's been to get motivated when you need to do something. If that's apply for internships, study for tests, and that isn't just specific to the year or this moment where I'm recording this, where it's been dealing with post-pandemic life, this and continued pandemic. This is beyond that. This is something that a lot of people will hit a moment where they're like, well, what am I doing? And when not doing that thing, sometimes that can have really major consequences. For example, not graduating on time. It's like many of us have maybe even worn out that ability to self-motivate because we've used it all up. So how can all of us help followers or help people around us with that obstacle of decreased motivation? As you read in the book, path goal theory is based on expectancy theory, which is a theory of organizational motivation. Expectancy theory states that followers are more motivated to be productive when they believe the effort to accomplish the task will lead to a valued result. Leaders have a big role in impacting how followers perceive task paths and goal desirability. They should communicate expectations and anticipated rewards clearly, as well as helping followers overcome obstacles for the tasks. So for example, if you're setting up a project, identifying what's the outcome of the project, what influence would that have perhaps on a performance review if there's not a financial incentive tied to it. Thinking about realistic, the logistics of giving someone that project, the obstacles that they might see, whether that is building a vision and drawing people in, or if it's just trying to get people enough time that they can finish their project. So I'm talking here about the obstacle of low motivation, but there's some areas that require some additional attention. For motivation to be high, leaders need to help individuals feel competent, get what they expect, value what they do. So with effort or expectancy in helping others people feel competent, this is a common need. All of us usually want to feel not like an idiot. If we don't believe that we can do the work at an expected level, we're probably not going to be motivated to do it. So how can we communicate to followers in a way that helps them feel competent? An employee would be gratified to hear the manager say, "You did this just the way it needed to be done," or stating, "This is a challenge, but I know you're capable. I know you have met it." How to help others get what they expect. And so this is going to be performance or instrumentality in this theory. The leader and the follower, everyone wants to know if their hard work, their effort will be rewarded. A leader needs to make sure that motivated individuals have realistic expectations associated with meeting those goals. A leader should make sure the outcome that individuals expect from their effort is achievable and will likely occur. For example, so you've said that doing this project will lead to a good performance review. Will a good performance review lead to a raise? A leader needs to confirm if these outcomes are realistic. Will that raise be the amount they expected? She needs to, as a leader, ensure their realization. If it is an achievable and realistic outcome, the leader needs to make sure the person gets the outcome if they meet the performance expectation. So make sure the bonus or raise went through. You also want to help others value what they do. So you're probably coming to see this is all interrelated. Without a valued outcome, people are not motivated to put effort toward a goal. As a leader, the challenge is to help others see the value in their work performance so then they have a valued outcome and are motivated to put effort toward their goal. The key is to help others feel good about those things towards which they are directing their energies. Examples of appreciating work: monetary rewards, positive personal feedback, special achievement awards. The overall challenge with expectancy theory for a leader to fully understand the goals of their followers and the rewards associated with the goals. A leader needs to figure out what work is rewarding to followers and how they can help the follower achieve the goal and make those rewards available. So to summarize all that, you're thinking about communicating confidence, confirming realistic expectations, and then following through, making sure that whatever the outcome and reward is does line up with your earlier communication. And you can see how this absolutely ties back to and applies what we've talked about with communication ethics. So the book talks about the 4 leadership behaviors across 4 obstacles. Instead, we're going to look at the 4 leadership communication behaviors and then apply them to the natures of followers and tasks. So this drawing is in Northhouse 2019 Leadership Communication Text, and we want to look at this from a more communication-based angle. So, of course, that's the point of the class. Now that we have a better understanding of motivation or expectancy, let's look at path goal theory again. This is a more developed model of what we saw in our previous path goal slide. We still have our path and goals at the bottom, but we see how motivation is key in that path. The stacked boxes we see are the other major components of the path goal theory: leader behaviors, follower characteristics, task characteristics. You'll see some of the obstacles in our book covered in follower and task characteristics. What's important to notice is that these stacked boxes point to motivation. Path goal theory suggests that each type of leader behavior impacts follower motivation in some way, and that's contingent on follower and task characteristics. Now that we have a general understanding of the model, let's look more closely at the 4 leadership communication behaviors and apply them to the nature of followers and tasks. First step, directive leadership. So this is going to be a leader who gives instructions about the task, what's expected, how to accomplish it, the timeline. When using this communication behavior, the leader helps simplify complex tasks. That's obstacle 4. The thought is that in spelling out explicit expectations and removing ambiguity related to tasks, followers have the clarity needed to do their job. This type of leadership involves setting clear performance standards and making rules clear to followers. Think of this as procedure-related communication. It's task-focused and is about planning, organizing, policy setting to guide the follower. For example, think about when I give you an assignment. There's always a set of written directions that gives you detailed explanations of how to accomplish the assignment's tasks, usually step by step. There's usually a rubric somewhere alerting you to how you're going to be evaluated so that you can plan accordingly. And that's not just selfish on my part that I want to minimize additional communication later. I know that what I'm trying to teach you is how to accomplish a set task, and if I tell you how to do the task, then you're actually going to be able to do it versus spending time trying to decipher my motivations. That's not what I want. I want you to achieve there. Supportive leadership is a style more relationship focused. It involves being friendly and approachable and attending to followers' well-being. With this style, leaders try to make work pleasant and have a connection. Leaders treat followers as equals and respect them. This is focused on interpersonal communication, and it's also focused back on what we remembered from maybe chapter 8, which is identifying and crafting a positive climate. Can also be used when work has really simple tasks, so obstacle 5. Participative leadership is when you have your communication designed to solicit opinions and ideas from followers for the purpose of involving followers in decision making. A leader using this style listens and incorporates followers' suggestions. He or she increases group performance through member participation and shared goals. This style of leadership is very focused on involving followers and addresses that obstacle of low involvement. Achievement-oriented leadership is when your communication is focused on goal attainment. This style challenges followers to perform at the highest level possible. It involves setting high standards of excellence and continued improvement, and leaders demonstrate confidence in followers' ability to accomplish tasks. One note I want to make there, and actually literally paused and wanted to just really emphasize this, is sometimes you can't get to this with the achievement-oriented leadership until you have done the others. In a way, I can see in my own career how there has to be a progression here, where you might start with really clear directions, then get to support, then start engaging in participation before getting to that achievement-oriented leadership. With the achievement-oriented leader, you might think of the kind of maybe teacher or coach or supervisor, maybe an internship supervisor who had what felt like initially impossibly high standards. But sometimes if you're in a positive climate, that can be used to set people up to exceed expectations and really excel. But if they don't know what they're doing, they don't have that first one where they even know how to complete a task, there's no way you can get to that high achievement point. Remember here, path goal theory is a situational theory. The point is to help followers be motivated to reach their goals and help clear obstacles. The way you can do that is through leadership communication. You can select a style that provides what's missing or is an obstacle in the work setting. You don't need to stick to one style. You shouldn't be locked into one. I know I have 2 teams that I'm managing, and one needs a different style than the other. You might exhibit any or all of these styles with different followers and situations. You have to adapt to the situation and your follower needs. And that actually leads to the other 2 components of the model, followers and task characteristics. This table gives you an at-a-glance sketch of what leadership communication styles tend to be most effective with. So which kind of followers, what are the tasks? Directive communication styles should be used in followers tasked with these criteria. So follower characteristics, you have a subordinate who likes direction, or they're not sure what to do, they're inexperienced. Conversely, if a follower thinks they know what to do and can do it, directive leadership might lower motivation. No one likes being micromanaged or watched over. The hard part there is sometimes people think they know what they're doing, but they don't. With task, directive communication is most effective when a task is unstructured, meaning that the components of the job are not set to a schedule or timeline, they need to just be accomplished. Has ambiguous expectations of what to do, has unclear rules, or is really complex. Supportive should be used if the employee is unsatisfied, so often unrelated to the task, needs relationships, affiliation to be happy at work, or needs encouragement or confidence boost. So they have the skills to accomplish the goal, but not the confidence. With structured tasks that are stressful, tedious, boring, difficult, dissatisfying, the idea here is that supportive leadership can make the task more pleasant and they are more motivated to do it. Supportive communication can increase confidence and commitment. It offers social rewards that boost motivation and satisfaction. Supportive communication could look like a boss expressing appreciation for a follower's effort on a difficult task. Supportive communication is less motivational when tasks are already enjoyable and stimulating for people. Participative should be used when followers want ownership of what they do or they want independence. These followers feel self-sufficient. They feel confident. They don't want your direction. They want to feel like they're in charge and influential. This means a leader should try to involve them in decision making that can increase dedication to shared group goals or group cohesiveness. Now, with tasks, they're going to ideally be unstructured and have ambiguous expectations. Participative leadership helps followers think critically about expectations and task performance. As they become more involved with an unclear task or something they're struggling with, that can increase understanding and motivation because it lowers uncertainty. When a task is highly structured and expectations are clear, participative leadership will have less of an effect on motivation. I'm going to pause for a second, not on the test, but let me just point out this is a challenge. What if you have a follower who wants independence? They want ownership, but you've been asked by maybe somebody in the C-suite not to reveal full information. So you can't tell that follower, well, here's exactly what we're doing. You need that follower just to trust you. It seems really simple on the slide, but I just wanted to pause and point out this is not as easy as it might initially appear. Now, the last one is achievement-oriented. So this should be used when followers have skills, they like a challenge, they have high expectations for themselves. If they don't find work challenging or worthwhile, they're going to be less motivated. So a leader would use achievement-oriented communication to provide a high standard of excellence or improvement. They might give tangible rewards for extra effort or achievement. People who are competitive like achievement-oriented leadership. So with tasks, you're going to use this leadership when tasks are ambiguous, unstructured, complex, challenging. By setting clear standards of excellence, that can help motivate people towards achievements and focus on work. It clarifies the work more and might help team members manage their time better when task achievements are involved. My hope with all of this as we come to the end of this is you see this as a starting point, not a definitive guide to how this is going to work. Real people are going to be complicated. You might have a team where you need to use a different leadership communication style with different people on your team. Different people on your team will have different tasks. Different people on your team will expect different things about the relationships. But understanding the basic sense of what is Pascal theory, what is expectancy, how can we focus on motivation, and how can you increase your use of those styles in a smart way, that can make it easier to lead a team, that can make it easier just to work with other people around you, and it can make a big impact just on the people. So let's say you have employees one day, their ability to overcome any obstacles. They'll feel empowered and motivated to do it versus just let it fester and boil over. We all have obstacles to get over and loved ones to help conquer our obstacles. This hopefully is a starting place with how to help people at your workplace, people you know who might be having a hard time or facing obstacles at work, and yourself when you face obstacles.